YouTubers, we're back on the second part of this How to Survive and Prosper in the Pandemic. We're just going over alternative incomes that we have discussed it in the past. I want to start off with reading a few things. There are three different types of people, and this is important. People who make things happen, people who watch things happen, and people who wonder what happened. Okay? So what happens is a lot of people kind of fall in with the crowd, and they go up, they wake up in the morning, they work their jobs, make less in the long run because of taxes and other things. That's another conversation we can have, and we'll go over that in the future, how the taxes systems are designed. The tax systems are designed for people who want to take an alternative path towards creating their income. That's basically it in a nutshell. And then by being so, they become unique. They become people who we call the wealthy, like yours truly here. There's a little picture I have here. It says, be the lone wolf or be the sheep. There is no honor in poverty. What does that mean? There's a bunch of sheep, and then, I don't know if you can see it, but way in there, there's a wolf right here. Okay? In other words, they take some priority in their lives to realize that the way that a job is set up, it's set up to take care of the income and create wealth for the company that you work for, not you. So you need to do a few things on your own in order to do that. I have another article here. You might recognize it. It's from Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki. It says, this is one of the worst investments in America. Guess what he's talking about? For most of us, the 401k as an investment vehicle is all we know about investment planning. Millions of Americans rely on employer-sponsored retirement plans, but they have no idea what they're paying for and where their money is eventually going. And eventually it's going away from them. Because like I said, in the past one, it just doesn't work. It's a system that is designed to help those who understand it, and that would not be the American public. Those who realize through options that it can be tapped and drained, and it is drained. So you can't look for the crowd mentality philosophy and still be prosperous in this country. You have to think a little bit differently. And I have another article for you here. Just bear with me here. The rich have money and passion. Okay? The old saying is true. The rich are different. Indeed, 70% of the nation's big family fortunes are less than 13 years old, according to Harrison Group, a research and marketing firm. And the people who amass these fortunes are primarily entrepreneurs, risk takers for whom wealth is a byproduct of pursuing their passion. The things I'm talking to you about now may not necessarily make you wealthy, but they certainly will give you an option over a regular 9-to-5 job. A regular 9-to-5 job is kind of designed to stick you on that Pink Floyd thing, another brick in the wall. You just a cog to help feed the federal government systems, and there's so much more to life than doing that. When we look at jobs in the American public, I think the American dream can be best found in most other countries besides the Americas. There was a second part plan set up by Roosevelt. It never went through because he died. But it was done and given to Italy, it was given to Japan and other countries, and they've took those following thoughts and they applied it to their everyday reasoning. And when you live in those countries, then you can work a job and they don't work you to a point where you get highly stressed and sick, and they believe more in their workers than they do their financial goals of their business, because they feel if the If the workforce is behind them, then they're bound to be prosperous, and that's very good reasoning. We don't do that in the U.S. Sadly, we don't. But let's move on to this list of what we have left. Okay, we just discussed dividend incomes, stocks and forex, and next one's going to be rental income. I discussed, just came out of a section just a while ago here, past 5 weeks, in regards to real estate. Real estate's good as two sections. It's either as a way for you to build some residual income through rental properties. That's a tricky one because you're responsible for the property, all the taxes, and hopefully the person that you put into the place pays their bills on time. Some people like people who don't pay their bills on time, and they can get more out of them each month, but it's actually risky in the long run. I worked in real estate for several years before InStar Alliance, which has been around for 4 roughly, and I can tell you, I mean, you know, renting a property, it has its drawbacks. If you really wanted to make real wealth in real estate, it definitely would be flipping the property, without question. But in order to do that, you'd have to set up a whole network, as we discussed before, so that you get the best prices on the different things you need to fix the place up. And if you're renting someplace, don't ever go and visit it unless, you know, there's issues with the rent that month. You're not going to like what you see. We didn't when I was dealing with it, and we still have real estate ventures that we do in Texas, and we still have the business and stuff down there. The only thing is, we just spend more time up here in the DC area. Anyway, that talks about real estate. You can go back up the other section with that. The next one is capital gains. Again, dealing with real estate, house flipping, there's a certain amount of capital gains that you get. You need to watch the government on this, because they're getting to a point where it's making it difficult for people to make capital gains. So you may want to look into that, depending on what part of the country that you live in. Here in the DC area, it's not that bad. The next one is royalty income. Royalty income for name brands and music, that actually is a very small group of society. Most people are not musicians. They might like and enjoy music and maybe fiddle around on the side with an instrument, but for the most part, people aren't. So getting royalties off of that, it's going to be rare. That is talking to a small group. I don't have any clients like that that I'm aware of, that, or shall we say, in our group that I know of. And you know, it is definitely a source of income, as residual income, but not for everyone, because most people have not or spent their time being in that type of environment. Name brands, you know, like George Foreman's Grill, that's good. But then again, that kind of falls back with celebrities, and name brands are like with stores as well, like Kirkland with Costco, Great Value with Walmart. Yeah, they get a certain amount of income when they're selling their products around other different places. This is outside of the normal realm that most people fall into, but it does exist. I wanted you to be aware of that. One-on-one consulting fees. Once you get good at something, you can charge more for it. This is more talking to our clients who want to be entrepreneurs and don't want to work a job anymore, and they want to just do consulting on their own. Had relatives that did that after they left their federal work. Then they did some consulting for several years. You could set your own schedule, your own prices ranges, and you base your price ranges based off of what you feel, you know, that your information is worth. And that's between you and the client that wants to work with you. We get commissions off of what we sell, so we don't really have a consulting fee per se that, you know, other companies do. But consulting fees is definitely an option. You could do that part-time and then put that income aside and invest it properly. There are annuities and other types of products that you can invest in that are outside of the market that would be safer for you. So definitely wanting you to be aware of consulting. The last one we discussed on, sadly, is the federal payouts. And a lot of people, again, fall on that option. They want to go IRA, they want to go 401k, they don't want to think about this stuff. You need to think about this stuff. You don't think about this stuff, no one else will. Most of the legislation and unfunded obligations that the government has is for retirement. Same thing on the state level. That's on the last of their list, making sure that your retirement is secure. They feel it's your responsibility, and we believe that it's your responsibility, and we can help you with here at InStar Alliance to do that if you're here in the DC area. But if you're not here in the DC area, then you need to grab the bull by the horns. You need to get up and look at some of these different investments and opportunities that are available to you. There's lots of ways of making money now. A lot of it falls on the internet. You need to take a serious look at it, and hopefully you'll learn something that might grab you in such a way that you want to get to be part of it. As we finish up here, I just want to say that here in the pandemic, I am happy to see we had a good debate last week between the vice presidents. I hope things get more normal. We can't encourage you enough to go out and vote. But above all, try to stay safe in this pandemic, because it's going to be here probably for at least a few more years if they go with herd mentality and they don't come up with any type of cure. If they do, great. If they don't, then that's the reality of it. Same as the economic things that are going to be in the future. I think that probably, based upon what all the economics and all the economies, not just in our country, but in other countries that have been affected by the pandemic, I think they all agree pretty much their economic recovery packages as well, all to once the virus has been contained, they're probably looking in the neighborhood of 6 to 8 years, becoming anywhere normal, back to where it is, except of course with China, who has really excellent contact tracing systems in place and public surveillance so that they can watch their public, and when they do get sick, they're aware of it very quickly. Without contact tracing, this is going to drag on for a long time. And I believe in this country, we definitely have very little to no contact tracing. Anyway, I hope you learned something this week. Next week, we'll move off into some new topic. We're getting to the end here of this first season. We're going to be going over different types of mindsets and what you need to do in order to prosper in this type of economy. Until then, have a safe week. We will meet you then next Sunday.